Is heterosexuality under attack?
Probably in about 4 or 5 generations, no one will be straight anymore.
Is the LGBTQIA plus mafia trying to overthrow society?
It's supremacy of gays and lesbians and transvestites.
Homosexual gay values, if you like, are imposed across the board.
Where's my straight flag?
Is the traditional family being destroyed by gender-neutral bakeries? Well, yes. But don't worry, straight people. We won't forget about you. I'm Joe Sutherland, and to stop straight culture being lost forever, I'm opening the first ever Museum of Heterosexuality, aka the Het. Every episode, I invite a queer guest to propose 2 relics of straight culture to be preserved in my collection so that future generations can learn about the greatest achievements of heterosexual civilization. In this episode, I'll be receiving proposals from an international drag sensation who has worked with all the greats, I believe RuPaul, Madonna, name more. She's also the star and writer of She's Living for This and the Sherry Vine variety show. It's Sherry Vine.
Hi!
Applause.
Oh, I hope so. Somewhere.
Hello and welcome to the Het.
Thank you.
Are you well in yourself? You're in the midst of a whirlwind European visit tour?
Yeah, I mean, it's my first plane ride and my first show in over 6 weeks because I had full knee replacement. And so that's 6 weeks literally is the longest I've gone in 35 years without performing.
How does that feel?
Well, I had my first show in Oslo and I was literally so nervous and I was like not used to feeling nervous like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was only 6 weeks. but also I can't wear my normal 6-inch heels. I'm like wearing these silly little flats. And so my body didn't feel like Sherry.
And
so it was
who
weird.
am I? Who am I in flats?
Who am I? What am I in flats? Nothing.
Bless you, but you're here in London now. Yeah. You've been to London before. Are you a museum kind of person?
Yeah.
What is it you look for? Like, what do you want to learn when you're going to a museum?
I usually go by recommendation, to be honest. Like someone says, you have to see this. I'm like, okay, and I'll go check it out. And I'm not so big on classics, let's say. But yesterday I went to the Tate to see the Lee Bowery exhibit, which was phenomenal.
Future classic.
Future classic. Amazing. I have been to the Tower of London because what queen does not want to look at those jewels?
Did you go on the little conveyor belt that takes you past?
I think I went so long ago it was pre-conveyor belt.
Now they have in front of the crown jewels, you know, like an airport's moving walkway, but it's 4 feet long. And there's nothing to stop you just going around in loops. But it does feel like one of those architectural interventions that really filters out the straights from the facts. Because
keep it moving.
Yeah, you've got a few straight dads who will like do one trip and then they move on to the next room to see a suit of armor.
Right.
But then you've got all these queens going, ooh, let's go again.
I didn't see the other side of the tiara. Right. So
It's
I
gorgeous.
do like museums. If I have time, I'll go.
Fabulous. Well, welcome to the Het.
Thank you.
It's marvelous to have you here in these hallowed halls.
It is very exciting. Learning more about heterosexual culture.
Before we get to our submissions,
Okay.
I think it's only right and respectful to kind of verify that all of my guests are not only knowledgeable, but loving, I suppose, of the of the straight culture.
I think you could classify my service to the straight male community as loving.
Okay. We're campaigning for sainthood here, perhaps, a kind of Mother Teresa adjacent.
Yes.
In that vein, then, may I ask a couple of key questions that I would like to ask all my guests?
Okay.
The first being, to test your knowledge and experience of straight culture, what is the straightest thing that you have done?
I actually box.
Pow pow?
Yeah.
Fistycuffs?
Boxing. I mean, to be clear, there's no hitting in the face because I'm like, please don't hit my face. And so, but I do like sparring and I've been boxing for several years. I would say I'm actually fairly good.
How fabulous. And your boxing gym, is it kind of a very macho space?
Where it is in Los Angeles is a kind of a lot of, it's a big gay community. So they are kind of go out of their way to be super inclusive. I mean, I believe some of the female instructors are lesbian, so it's definitely queer. The men instructors are mostly straight, but so nice and sweet and super cool. Like they had a big pride event and they were like, would you come and drag and just like cheer people on and stuff? And I was like, totally. And it was really fun.
Oh.
But I have boxed at other places where I didn't feel comfortable at all.
So that's not in your itinerary when you're touring? You're not like, I must drop into Cardiff's best boxing gym.
No, definitely not.
Okay.
But I balance it with yoga and stuff. And that's the yoga studio I go to is super dancers and we're super queer. I like a balance.
Yeah. I think that's important to stay zen in this way. 1 foot in each sexual puddle. And may I ask, when did you yourself realize that you were not 100% straight, but perhaps an ally to that community?
I didn't come out officially until I was 19, and literally was the last to know. Like when I told my parents, my mom laughed. And she's like, oh, honey, we've been waiting for this day. So I was the last to know. But now I can look back and remember being really young and playing with these little Matchbox cars in the front yard. And this guy drove by on a Harley Davidson with all these tattoos. And it stirred something in me. And to this day, that's my type.
Oh, that's beautiful. I can see you in this Lana Del Rey role, just riding in on the back.
Oh, yeah.
There is something sad sometimes when I think a child has really dressed it up in their minds, this moment that they're going to come out. But then a parent says, oh, we know. It's like, let me have this moment of theater.
Right. I mean,
I see what we're going for.
I feel so blessed because I have friends that have no contact with their family at all. And so there's no drama, there's no crying, there's no tears. They're not religious. I didn't have any of that shit. It was just like, okay.
Moving on.
And drag, I was even more nervous to be like, oh, here's my career choice now after graduate school. I'm going to be a drag queen. And my mom was like, oh, that sounds fun. That was it.
Yeah, my dad was kind of the same. I was shocked that coming out as a stand-up comedian, that he was very much like, oh, I'm just so glad that you're happy.
Yeah.
So glad that you're happy with something. And there I am thinking like, no, give me something to rail against. Like,
Right.
tell me to get a trade, to get a proper career.
Yeah.
Instead, it's like, oh, I'm just so glad that you're indulging your creative tendencies. Let me struggle, please. Well, thank you so much for sharing your truths and proving that you are truly, I believe, an ally of the endangered heterosexual peoples.
Absolutely.
I think it's important that, in a museological context, as archivists, that we treat this culture with respect. That is why I want to preserve the best examples of the straight culture that is sadly dying. So with that in mind...
I wish they were a little bit more in the United States, some of them, right now. But
well, do you know what? I think they're pushing back.
They are really pushing back
because they find...
Those poor, straight Christian men have just been so abused and neglected.
I know. Who is giving them a voice?
Where is their voice?
It's sad.
It's horrible. Now in the United States, they're having a lot of... there's a big movement for... religious freedom. Finally. They've been so persecuted.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Stop separating state and church, for goodness sake. Let them be friends.
Yes, come on, Gilead.
Oh my God. I've been obsessively watching Handmaid's Tale recently in a way that's like, I don't understand how that show has had such great success in the States when it's basically about how to become a terrorist. Like, it's a training manual.
Well, it's changed because I can tell you when the first season, it was still considered science fiction.
Mm-hmm.
And then during the first Trump administration, I literally couldn't watch it because I was like, it's too real. And now we're back to like, this is maybe what needs to happen. I shouldn't say they'll never be allowed back in the United States, but past peaceful resistance.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, this is supposed to be comedy, right?
Well, okay, with this in mind, I have, of course, asked you to bring 2 items of heterosexuality to place forward for submission into the museum.
Okay.
With that in mind, may I ask, what is your first nomination?
It is a flannel shirt. And let me be clear. It's not like a flannel shirt that a homosexual would look at and be like, oh, I could rock that. No. It is like, ooh, that's 100% Tennessee heterosexual flannel shirt. That was my ex-boyfriend's, and I somehow inherited it, and it's hanging in my closet.
I'll make sure to attach the picture, but for the benefit of the museum patrons at home, Sherry did send me a photograph of this very specific shirt. So we're not just talking about the notion of a flannel shirt. This is a true artifact. And to describe it for the listener, it's blue, cream, and red plaid, check, but it's very worn. It's lived a life.
It's lived a life.
You would definitely see it on Luke in the Gilmore Girls. I think it's in that
yes.
category. But there's also sort of red and purple stains down the front.
Well, yes. Now, see, he is a construction worker. So he wore it to do construction work, and I wear it to put on my makeup.
To construct.
Sherry. This, yes. So it's covered in makeup stains, and we're still friends. So I sent him pictures of it, and he was cracking up or whatever. It's kind of like I've made it as queer as possible, but it's hanging on to its heterosexual roots.
I've always been curious when queens, and especially you say on Drag Race, you see some of them getting ready, and they clearly have some butt ugly rag or smock that they love to wear, that is their ritualistic makeup gown.
Yeah.
But you find yourself thinking like, girl, you're on television. Have some decorum. But it's clearly, it means something to them emotionally. Do you think a lot of queens have that for their preparation?
I do. I mean, it's just so much easier to, like, if you're getting ready, like there's some queens that are very, like Bianca would never just like rub her brush on clothing. Do you know what I mean? Like everything's kind of pristine. And I'm just like getting ready and it's like, oh, I got to clean it. And it's like, and and you move on. And it's like a little like security blanket, if you will. I mean, I travel with it. I love to wear it to get ready.
Oh, bless you. And so, okay, then I'm also curious about this story about this man, this construction worker. Would we say that he himself identifies as straight?
Totally.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. There was no room for even being bisexual. He identifies 100% as straight, and it was really fun at first, and then it was a nightmare. It kind of kept going back and forth for 15 years.
15? Okay. That only opens up a can of worms of questions. So
I know.
So if I may pry.
Please.
Okay, well, by all means, tell me when to stop. I presume then he only dated Sherry, that identity of yours?
That's how it started.
Okay.
Yes, that's how it started for sure. But he was dating the girl that lived across the hall from me when I was in New York City. And I could see in his eyes every time I passed in drag, he would just like hear me clicking down the hall, like click, 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 click. And the door would fly open and be like, oh, hey. And I'd be like, hi. And I could see it in his eyes. I was like, But I was like, there is no way I was going to get like involved in anything. They break up. She moves away. A year later, he shows up at one of my shows. And I'm like, what are you doing here? He's like, oh, I just wanted to see your show. It's funny. I'll give you a ride home. And I'm like, okay. As soon as I got in that car, I was like, knew where this was going. So it was just very kind of one-sided sexual, dressed as Sherry. And then when he's like texting me, he's like, hey, I'm in your neighborhood. I'm like, well, I'm not dressed up tonight, and I'm not getting dressed up to, can we say anything?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not getting dressed up to suck your dick. Okay. So he's like, I've seen you how to drag. And I'm like, okay, come over. And then it was just like that for a while, and it was really fun. But then it just kind of progressed where he was like, well, I don't want you fooling around with other people, and we should be one-on-one and did. And I'm like, well, we're going to have to talk about the menu. And
because I need some sides that aren't on offer at this
we need
buffet.
something more than one entree. And I just knew that I should keep my wall up emotionally because it's a whole other world. Anyway, long story short, I let down the wall, and then that was just a huge mistake. So 1 week we eventually lived together for a little bit. And it would be great. He could see my friends and hang out and come to the shows once in a while. I never, ever met anyone in his world at all. Never even went to where he lived. It was like it was the whole thing. And then one day he would freak out and be like, oh my God, I can't be with the guy. This is crazy. I'm not gay. And I'm like, okay. And he would leave and then he'd always come back. And then the next week I would freak out and be like, I'm fucking gay. And I'm gay. And I'm not going to be, I don't need to be your dirty little secret. So this kind of went on for 15 years. But the sex was really good. And he was actually a really good person. He was a really good person. He just couldn't reconcile it in his head. So whatever. We're still friends. And I'm the only guy he's ever been with.
And have you learned more about his other life since then?
I'd seen him. I mean, I didn't even say hi. I'd seen him with his girlfriend. And I was just kind of like, let it slide. But
you didn't slip her a little note like, well done.
No.
He likes 2 fingers.
No, nothing like that. Yeah, it's so kind of psychologically, I actually am making a documentary. We've already shot it. We're editing it now called Sex and Drag, and I kind of talk about it to an extent because I wouldn't want to out him. But it is this, I really do only have sex with guys who identify as straight.
I know that a lot of queens have experienced similar stories. What I'm curious about is, since the mainstream explosion, I suppose, this post-Drag Race world where drag is maybe a bit more visible for many people, certainly on your phone. On like digitally, has that shifted things in one direction or the other? Does it mean that the chasers have more access to the queens,
honey.
or are they actually repelled?
No, let me tell you, back before apps, okay, before cell phones, I could do a show, if I was doing a show in a bar and look out on the audience and see a guy standing in a dark corner alone, I was like, he's not here for the show, okay? Now it's changed because you can order in. So, for instance, I'm on an app as Sherry, very clearly stating I'm a drag queen, okay? I'm not trans, I'm drag, right? So it's very, very clear. I have gotten probably 300 messages since I've been in London for 2 days. So there is a whole world.
And you arrived less than 48 hours ago.
Yes.
Okay.
But you have to be Sherry. You know what I mean? They don't want, you have to have this all on. And it sounds like, some people are like, oh, that's so kind of weird. Like, why would you want to do that? I mean, there's a lot of reasons. One, I'm kind of more attracted to that type of guy. Number 2, I'm of a certain age where in the gay community, I'm the crypt keeper. Do you know what I mean? And for these guys, I'm just like a cougar.
Stacey's mom.
Yes.
I see that this shirt is imbued with all of this history. It feels like it's carrying a lot of weight, not just this guy's story, but all of these guys.
Yeah.
It feels very emblematic of that. And I guess what I'm curious about is, I don't know if you've noticed, I don't know if it's the same in Los Angeles, certainly in London, there's been a trend shift over the last 5 years. And I think more straight guys are dressing kind of queer. And then there's a bit of a backlash where queer kids are kind of dressing maybe a little more straight to try and carve out some space again. And obviously, there's always been like fetishization of the construction man, the policeman, the Native American. Can you see where I'm going with this? We shall not be giving them many royalties. And then, lest we forget the manner in which lesbians have adopted the flannel shirt and made it so hot. I'm wondering, like, what makes a real straight flannel plaid shirt and what makes a queer one?
Well, it's funny because like what you're talking about is so accurate. I mean, London, New York, Los Angeles, the big cities, like you see straight guys with like black fingernail polish. You know what I mean? Like now that's rock and roll. That's acceptable. But they're not going to be wearing red nail polish. It has to be black, maybe dark blue. You know what I mean? So they're kind of like getting their toes wet. And I love that. I kind of love, there's an area in Los Angeles called Silver Lake that's super metrosexual. Like you can't tell who's gay, who's straight. And I personally love that. That to me is more utopian of like, who cares? Just like whatever. And I think that there's a lot more people, especially women, who identify as queer, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're lesbian.
This is where I can really feel my own shifting from, let's say, early to early, late, mid 30s. But there is that part of me that's very aware of my younger brother's friends kind of coming out as very fluid or, boys who would, let's say, present as straight, but kind of messing around with other boys. And there's that part of me in the back of my mind that's like, but you're actually just doing that to get girls. Like, I sometimes wonder, like, is it a Gen Z trend to suck dick to attract girls? But that's it. Maybe I'm just becoming an old man.
No, you're not. It has changed. I was hanging out. I went to a friend of mine had some party. Like, all my friends now have kids that are 20. You know what I mean? And tonight, 2 of my friends' kids are coming to my show. And I'm like, that's how old I am, that my friends' kids can come to my show. Anyway, they were like hanging out as a group of these young kids. And I just was kind of sitting there talking and da-da-da. And someone else literally said, oh, is that guy, is he gay? And they all looked like, what do you mean? Like, it was so foreign to them. Like, who cares? Like, they would never even question it. Just like, I don't know. Who cares? Who knows? Whatever. So it might not be like that in other places, obviously, outside of a big city. But I find that, yes, I get what you're saying. Like, it's just so spectrum-y, fluid now. And I'm just kind of trying to go with it. Like, I remember, I'm a lot older than you. So back when I came out.
A few months, yeah. The school year above.
The school year. When I came out, literally, gays would post, like, there wasn't a phone, but you could go on the internet at the very beginning and it would be like straight acting. Straight acting was the big thing. No fats, no femmes, straight acting. And I was so offended by that because I'm like, I just came out. Now I'm supposed to act straight? Is that like what is sexy to gay men, or is it self-loathing? So I don't know. It was just, I found that intensely offensive. I don't think you really see that so much anymore, but it was
I think that is hopefully more frowned upon.
Yeah.
That kind of behavior. And actually now, so I do want to celebrate those guys who are a bit like mask for mask, but so long as they're not, inflicting that on other people in that way.
The Eagle has drag shows now, okay? And back in the early 90s, whatever, you couldn't go to the Eagle and drag. No way.
We had a club here in London. Was it XXL? Did you ever Yeah. But it was a huge news scandal back in the mid-noughties that somebody tried to go in heels. And it was like, no, this is a club for men. And it was like, honey, at least 60% of these people are not going in there to behave like men.
For sure. I performed there once with Peppermint, and we had a friend of ours, a cisgender woman, who wanted to see the show, and they were like, no women. And we were like, why? Well, there's a dark room. Well, she doesn't want to go in the dark room. She's going to come in and watch the show and leave. And we had to do this. It was kind of like a big fight to get her in, but we did.
But also, how retrograde to think like, oh, well, she couldn't go in the dark room. It's like, maybe she wants to hold her friend's coat. Those floors get sticky.
They don't want the drag queens in there either. So, and I don't need to be in there anyway. So it's like not in a wig.
You don't do all of this to sit in the dark. Come on.
No.
This is wonderful. I love this submission. I love this nomination for the museum. And 2 things to think about are, if it were to be accepted into the Het Museum, how would we display it? What would be its exhibition? Are we creating a mannequin to wear it? Or is there another way that we really tell its story?
Well, maybe a mannequin, maybe a kind of like beefy mannequin, and holding a makeup brush.
Cute.
I don't know, something like that. Then you kind of get like, both worlds.
There was something I liked in your story about click-clacking your heels down the hallway and his head kind of emerging, like Schrodinger's stilettos. His ears go bing.
Totally.
I wonder if there's an exhibit that can kind of have that.
Just a soundtrack of click, 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 click.
Or these days they're all constantly trying to make museums updated for the kids because the kids want to interact. At the V&A, they had this Naomi Campbell exhibition recently, and the kind of closing element was that you got to digitally walk a catwalk with Naomi, and there was like an AI avatar.
Did you get to fall?
You should.
In the Westwoods? No.
So I'm wondering, is there a version where actually we create a corridor, you get to put on some heels and click-clack down the hallway, and then the mannequin opens the door in the shirt and goes, huh?
Hey, hi. Oh my God, that would be hilarious. That I would love.
I love it. Okay, fantastic. And should it get accepted into the museum, of course, every prize exhibit needs to have its gift shop merch. So what are we buying in the gift shop?
Oh, I think you should be able to buy the shirt.
The shirt itself?
Yeah.
A knockoff version?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can buy them for $1 at Goodwill. You know what I mean?
Are they pre-makeup stained?
Well, you might have to. What would be funny is to have a different queen. Mm-hmm. Like, this is Mary Mac's flannel shirt in the gift shop. This was Lady Bunny's or whatever. That could be fun.
That is cute, yeah. And so long as they have, I think, a sort of scratch and sniff element, I want to be able to buy it and sniff peppermint, yeah.
Well, I was going to say, if it's Lady Bunny, I'm pretty sure you wouldn't even have to scratch it.
You might have to snap it. Before I decide whether to put this shirt into the museum, we must, of course, consider your second nomination. So what is the other artifact of straightness that you have for me today?
I believe it was the boxing gloves, wasn't it?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, the boxing gloves.
So are we talking boxing in general, or again, is this a personal item, a specific boxing glove?
Well, it's kind of specific because when I really was like debating of like getting pink boxing gloves. So I was like, yeah. And I ended up getting gray. I think they're 14 pound, which is, ounces, not pounds. Mm-hmm. And anyway, I got these, which were very kind of, I would say, masculine boxing gloves. And I'm obviously not trying to be someone else. I don't put on any facade when I walk in there, and it's like, I'm like, hey, there's the queen. I've got red toenails. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not trying to fool anybody at all. But I do feel it's one of the few times I would say that I actually feel masculine, because even at home, just hanging out, whatever, I'm just like, girl, hey, queen, I'm a sissy. But when I put on those boxing gloves and like work out like that, like I said, I'm not trying to be somebody else, but it kind of taps into my feminine side is much stronger. Mm-hmm. And that's one area where I kind of tap into my masculine side.
This is a very interesting one, because obviously boxing as a sport, it has a lot of homoeroticism to it. It's very ancient. We can trace it back many, many millennia. Ancient Greece, ancient Minoan Crete, which is, I think, where the first examples of boxing gloves were depicted.
Sounds
on
sexy.
some sort of vase. I guess why is boxing straight? Or is it? That's the question.
I don't think it is anymore. Mm-hmm. I mean, I certainly would say that it certainly was probably at one time. There's only one, and I can't remember his name, but there is a pretty world-famous openly gay boxer. But for the most part, I would say it's quite heterosexual. And certainly if you go to the event, I've never gone to a live boxing. I mean, I just don't need to see all of that part of it. But I'll watch it on TV more for the choreography. Mm-hmm. I don't really enjoy seeing someone get hit hard in the face at all. But I like to watch the choreography and the whole, there is a method.
I feel like there's a lot of drag to boxing as well, especially when you get to that elite level that's so glitzy and there's so much money pumped into it. So you see, we had this fantastic boxer, was it? Now I'm going to butcher his name. I can't remember if it was Imran or Amir Khan, or maybe there's one of each. Okay. But, like these guys who kind of come from a working class background, and then they get to Vegas, or, they're doing their matches in the Middle East, and they're coming out with like 600 dancers, and they're like being airlifted through the arena in the sky like it's a Madonna concert.
Yeah.
It's something quite spectacular and very pop star.
Yeah.
Which has always struck me as like really quite camp.
Yeah. Well, now that everything's a spectacle.
Where do we draw the line? Everything's going to be drag.
And honey, did you watch Eurovision?
I did not this year, no.
Oh my God. I remember Eurovision I lived in Berlin 2001 to 2004. And I remember watching Eurovision where it was just people come out and sing and that's it. Now it's just like fire and fireworks and lights and videos and dance. And it's just like, are they singing? It's just like production number, and it's so campy now. I mean, it's just beyond camp. And so I think that kind of like bleeds over into everything. Like everything has to be kind of like the Super Bowl, halftime. The gays watch the halftime part of Beyonce or Katy Perry. They're not watching the Super Bowl. Mostly. I don't want to stereotype, but I'm just saying they tune in to watch halftime.
Yeah, and you compare that to when Diana Ross, I mean, I know she had the helicopter, but otherwise she was trudging around in the grass.
Yeah.
She was those shoes were not staying clean. Whereas now Rihanna's like elevated up and down on a floating runway. There's like, she does not have to touch a single piece of dirt.
Oh, of course not.
It's spectacular. See, what I'm curious about as well with boxing, I've tried boxing myself. I do really love it. And when I really, really felt the need to do some boxing most recently, what reignited my love of getting involved with it was I was in New York, November last year, the week of the election.
Oh.
And I'd been there kind of soaking up the vibes, sort of seeing what was going on. It was very interesting. And the day after he won, I woke up so hungover, but there was just something in my mind that was like, oh, I need to go and hit something. So I went to a boxing class in Chelsea immediately and then was addicted and went every day for the rest of that week.
It's fun. I mean, first of all, it's a great workout. And second of all, like I said, the choreography, like, if someone's just calling out 1, 2, 3, 4, blah, 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 and you can like follow it, it's really fun. Like, I don't want people to get, I don't want to fool people that I'm like, in a ring, getting knocked out or knocking someone out. Like I have been hit in the face sparring, and I'm always like, don't hit my face.
That presumably extends to all areas of life.
Please. But I like the sparring part of it. So it's more about that and not the fighting.
Sparring is a little more free form. Okay, so that's not as choreographed.
No, it can be very choreographed. Like they'll have they'll put up a board. And it'll be like 1, 1, 2, dip, doop, 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 doop. And it can get long, and then they keep adding. And now I add a 2, 3. And so to get that down, it's literally choreography.
Yeah.
And that is I love that part of it. It's so fun.
So the gym that I was going to in Chelsea, New York, was very much, it was for the girls. It was, club lighting, very dim. You just kind of had your own boxing bag. But then I wanted to try some one-on-one. And so this is so gay. I found a gym in the West Village that I was like, oh, I'll go there because Gigi Hadid has been there. No. Gigi Hadid has been there. So therefore, that's the one for me.
Gold star.
But actually, it was the most macho boxing gym I'd ever been into. It's probably still like one of the gayest along the spectrum. All the staff were like these macho guys, but they clearly knew they were in the West Village. They knew who their clientele were.
Totally.
But I was paired with this guy, and God bless him, he was clearly so like they paired up everyone in the class, and there were loads of like real hench guys and a couple of like really fit girls, and then they paired this guy with me, and you could just see it in his face that he was like, oh, why do I have to have the faggot?
Oh, honey, I have gotten that 100 times. Most of the time, they'll be like, oh, you know what you're doing. I'm like,
Well, yeah, no, I definitely got him to that point, but but I did also then feel sorry because I'm not so good with picking up the choreo. Like I'm very, very slow.
I've had some guys, because sometimes, you'll wear the gloves, so they're just like punch. And I've had some guys that are like they just are trying to break your hand. And I'm just like, really? You're not going to knock me out hitting my hand. So you don't need to like break my arm. And then they're a little bit like, but whatever, I don't fucking care.
just get in a fight. Just get drunk and get in a fight. Like, don't bring that to my door. In fact, there's a queer boxing gym I want to try in London. Well, it's not. It's actually a very straight boxing gym, but they have one night a week. It has a queer takeover,
fun.
And it's really cool. There's like loads of trans guys, loads of queer guys, loads of dykes. Like it looks like it's really good and really supportive, but also like people. It's a safe space where people are like, yeah, we can actually butch up and like
cool.
beat the shit out of each other. So I want to get into that.
I would go.
Next time you're in town, I'll let you know. In fact, I'm moving house just around the corner. Dox myself there. What is a queer equivalent? Is there a sport or event in the queer world that can kind of hold the same power as boxing?
Maybe the gay equivalent of boxing is like voguing. Right,
but of course.
Do, duck, 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 floor, spin, drop.
You are 100% correct because the crowd response is almost identical. You know, I've been to a bunch of sports. I've been to see rugby. I've been to see football. I've been to see American football. I've seen American baseball. But the two events where the crowd react in almost exactly the same way are boxing matches and a Vogue ball.
Vogue ball.
I went to see the boxing in the Olympics last year, Oui, au Paris.
Oh, wow.
And it was incredible. It was a semi-final, I think, where, what's her name? Iman Khalif?
I'm sure I won't know.
I'll splice it in if I've got it wrong.
Okay, I'm sure I won't know.
But, you know, the woman who was getting horrendously bullied by Elon Musk, J.K. Rowling. They were doubting her gender, essentially. And it was just by pure accident that we'd booked on a day that she was having one of her semi-final heats. And so there were all of these people from her country who just took over the stadium, and they were chanting and like making up rhymes, waving flags, filming themselves, doing little dances in the crowd, and it was exactly the same energy I feel that I've seen when I've been to a ball and I've seen the queens shouting, "Izzy, Miyake, Miyake." Right. It was 100% the same energy. It was incredible.
That's a good analogy then. I like that.
And then again, you get the same, like people are kind of brought to the floor and paraded before they compete. There's a lot of that. And yeah, and then there's jeering as well. That's the other thing. People don't realize that when you go to a Vogue ball, there's an aggression as well. You know, opposing houses are kind of reading each other and shouting at each other.
One of my favorite lines from Paris is Burning is, "Let's not get loud." You know, because he's like trying to... Let's not get loud. Let's not be rude.
Okay, J-Lo, keep it down. So once again, if the boxing glove is inducted into the museum, how are we going to display it?
We need something to make it as gay as possible. Maybe it's a mannequin with these gloves, but it's got, you know, like wearing a pride shirt or something. I don't know.
I'm picturing the mannequin of, a real buff kind of heavyweight guy, like you see in the window of the Nike store these days. I don't know if you've walked past a Nike store and like there's some of these mannequins, they've really beefed them out.
Oh, yes.
And I feel a twinge, I have to say. And these bodies have no head. And yet there is a part of me that's like, do you know what? I would. I'm picturing one of them in your kind of hero stance, wide legs, but perhaps with one limp wrist, with the glove on.
Right, that's good. That's cute.
So it's still giving masked boxer, but just with that little twist.
Yeah, butch femme.
Butch femme. The perfect
category is butch femme boxing.
And once again, then we're going to the gift shop. We want to pick up a little commemorative souvenir to.
Well, how about little boxing like keychain?
Little boxing,
like a little
ones.
boxing glove on a keychain type thing.
Yes, I like that. If especially they're tiny gloves that could go on the end of your fingers, so you could have one on each index finger.
There you go. Pew, pew, pew. That's adorable.
I love it. Thank you so much for your nominations. Just to review, we have the hetero ex-boyfriend's flannel shirt, which has now become your drag preparation makeup smock.
Yes.
And then we have the boxing glove. Now, unfortunately, due to government spending cuts in the arts and heritage sector, space in the museum is limited, so I can only accept one of these proposals.
Okay.
And both, I will admit, are fantastic examples of heterosexual culture. I'm so pleased. But I am going to have to choose only one of them. And I think that item is going to have to be the ex-boyfriend's flannel shirt.
I was hoping so.
There's such an interesting, complex story in there. And I think it's so beautiful that you're still friends with this guy, that, you know, it's so interesting that he identifies as straight as well. And why should he not? Let him.
Yeah.
Let him.
I mean, whatever. I should have sent you a picture of my closet because, not the drag closet, but Keith's closet, which is this big compared to the entire garage has been converted into the drag closet. Anyway, it's just like, you know, pink shirt, black shirt, like, you know, Zara, what-da-da-da. And then there's this flannel shirt, just like, what is that doing there?
Well, of course, to honor this occasion, we will, of course, be holding the most celebrated event in the social calendar of the year, the Het Gala.
Oh, yeah.
And the theme of that night will, of course, be ex-boyfriend's flannel shirt. I'm wondering, as an honored guest at this year's Het Gala, what will you wear to dress on theme?
Well, there has to be a reveal element, okay? Because it would be drag and it's, you know, the Het Gala. And I think I would have to come in some kind of over-the-top, sequin, ruffled cape gown, right? And then walking up the stairs, it just slips off and I'm just wearing the flannel shirt and 6-inch stilettos.
I love it because you know what? It's reverse drama.
Yeah.
Too many reveals are going for drama as the final point. Why not just start with the drama and finish with,
I would love that. Can you
subvert
imagine?
the norm.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, I'm going to choose for myself. I'm going to come in to kind of honor the flannel, the check, the plaid. I want those like gross, straight college boy boxer shorts that stick up above a waistband, but I'm gonna have them sticking up to just above nipple, like a sort of bustier, but tucked into some baggy jeans.
I love that.
And the jeans are sequined. There we go.
I love that. I love that. I love the reference to the boxer shorts too.
Okay, well, congratulations.
Thank you.
For submitting to the museum. Are you pleased with the outcome?
I'm honored.
Oh, thank you so much, as are we. Now, is there anything you would like to plug or allow the listeners, the viewers, to find out where they can find more of you?
I would say visit sherryvine.com because I'm on tour for the whole year, literally around the world. And so maybe I'm in a city near you and come check me out.
Do you live in a city? Do you live on the world? She's going to be near you.
Our Instagram, Miss Sherry Vine. I'm easy to find.
Well, as the doors to the Het close for another episode, I want to remind our listeners and viewers to remember to look out for their straight friends and be the best ally they can. Show an interest in your straight friends' lifestyles, okay? Discuss with them the benefits of the Stanley Cup over a Yeti, or, ask how they're doing, especially with the stress of having to attend a minimum of 6 destination weddings every summer. I mean, it's not easy for them out there. Now, if you've enjoyed this episode of The Het, good news! There's plenty more where this came from, so remember to subscribe on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. Find us on YouTube and follow me, Joe Sutherland, on Instagram. And I want to know from the listeners, who do you want as a future guest? So please leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform with a suggestion. Do join us again next time. Goodbye.